Today I'm going to show you how I built this pickup truck bed with only $65 worth of lumber that you can pick up from any big box store. And the best part is, once you have it built, you can install it and break it down in a matter of minutes if you want to use your truck for something else. Today I'm going to show you exactly how I built it. Let's jump into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So my first popular video on this channel back a few years was a truck bed build like this. My then girlfriend, now wife, and our two dogs, we traveled everywhere in this thing. All kinds of different states, campgrounds. We even stayed at a few truck stops before. And it was just an awesome, super cheap way to travel. But then we had a baby. And then we had another baby. And the pickup truck went back to being just an ordinary old pickup truck again. Until now. So my son is 3, almost 4 now, and he sees the old pictures of when we used to travel in this, and he started showing some interest. So I got all excited like a little kid, and I built another one. But this one I needed to be even easier to install and break down, to take in and out, because, well, I use my truck for like house stuff now. I use it a lot more for just camping. So I have to still have access to my pickup truck. And I can honestly say I succeeded at that. This thing goes in and out in a matter of minutes. It's also phenomenally easy to build. And did I mention it only costs $65 in lumber? It is built with 6 2x4x8s, 1 sheet of 3/4 inch sheathing plywood, and 1 sheet of 7/16 OSB plywood for the drawer and the storage underneath. So go grab that stuff and let me take you back to yesterday morning when I built this, and let's get started. Alright, so from Home Depot I picked up 1 sheet of 3/4 inch plywood. That was 31 bucks. And I picked up 10 2x4s that were $3.35 a piece, so roughly about 35 bucks. In total, it's like $65 worth of lumber, and that's what I'm going to limit myself to build the bed platform of this. I also do have a sheet of OSB plywood that I'm going to use for the drawer. Alrighty, first I got to get this thing cleaned out. Alright, so as you guys can see, I use my pickup truck for a lot. So that's another goal with this build, is it's got to be easy to disassemble and take out and put in, because I always need my truck for different things. And I figure it's worth mentioning, my truck is a 2016 GMC Sierra, and it's got a 6.5 foot bed in it, and it does have like a plastic factory bed liner in it, but like I said, this design will work with any truck the way I built it. Alright, I think I got something worked up. First, I am going to cut a 2x4 that's going to sit on top of the wheel wells. As you can see, my specific truck, it has the plastic bed liner in, and on top of the wheel wells there's actually a flat spot, but you absolutely don't need that. Alright, now I got 2 more 2x4s here. I'm going to cut these to a length of 78 inches because that's the overall length of my pickup truck bed. Alright, I took some measurements. I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to connect the long rails that I just cut on the miter saw to the underside of this. Alright guys, I'm going to make these connections. I'm going to through bolt these with some carriage bolts, just because when we're on this is going to be holding a lot of the weight. You could probably get away with 2.5 inch screws, just put 4 of them in each of them. As for my case, I'm just going to through bolt it. But I went through, I made sure everything's squared up. I used a framing square, I measured each end. So I got it clamped up exactly where it's got to go. So I'm just going to put those carriage bolts in. Alrighty guys, I got that all set. It's all tightened up, it's all squared up. So this middle one is the one that sits on top of the wheel wells. And my thoughts are the plywood's going to sit on top of this one. But obviously it can't only sit on top of this one, it's just going to teeter-totter. So what I'm going to do is cut 2 more 2x4s on either side. That'll give plenty of support for the plywood sheet to go on. Alright guys, now I got to connect these cross pieces to the main rails. How I'm going to do that is just pre-drill and screw in 2.5-inch screws. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this in there, get this piece up on the wheel wells, kind of dry fit it so that I can measure for my feet. I want to get some feet in there on each corner to support the ends from going like this. Alright guys, I measured each corner and 6 5/8 is going to be my measurement. I mentioned before I was going to do the 4 corners. I'm going to do the 4 corners as well as the middle ones. So I'm going to pull this out of here, get some feet cut and get them screwed in, and then I'll get this back in here. Additionally, when I'm cutting these feet, I'm going to cut these rough corners off. This is going to be on the bottom, and I'm going to make this hopefully so it'll slide in and out pretty easily. So I want to get rid of these rough corners. So I readjusted the stop block. I'm just going to make a couple cuts here to get rid of them. Alright, now I'm going to take the feet I just cut, and they are going to go like this. I'm going to pre-drill through here. Once they're tightened and screwed right there, I'm going to go through this into this one just to make sure it's super strong. Alrighty, all the feet are on. Now I'm going to want to flip this over. Now I'm just going to add 1 screw on each foot. It's just going to go right through the middle into this, just to really keep it strong, because these are going to take a lot of abuse when getting put in and put out of the back of the truck. Alright, with the structural frame of the platform all set here, now it's time to cut the plywood for it. As I said, I'm using only 1 sheet of plywood, so right now I got to cut it to length, which is going to be the same as the rails, which is the same as the length of your bed. So, my case, 78 inches. And to trim this down, I'm just putting down a sheet of insulation so I can cut this on the ground so I can lay the plywood on top of it. This is just plywood sheathing. I got the 3/4 inch thick one. With how close my slats are together, I probably could have got away with 1/2 inch, but to be safe, I got the 3/4 inch. It was like 30 bucks. And just to trim this to length, I'm using my track saw, but you absolutely don't need a track saw. You can just use a normal battery operated handsaw and put a straight edge on it and make the cut. Alright, let's see how this thing fits. Beautiful. Alright, now one other thing I want to do is I want to secure this piece of plywood from moving from side to side. You don't have to worry about going front and back because once the tailgate's closed, it's locked in place and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm just going to cut a couple plywood pieces on either side. Leave a little bit of play so it's not too tight, just to lock it in from moving from side to side. So I just took the sheathing cut off that we just got done cutting for the sleeping platform, and I just ripped a 1-inch strip and cut it down to 3 inches on the miter saw. I cut 4 of them. And then I just pre-drilled and screwed so I can put it on each corner to lock it in place. This left about a 1/4 inch gap, which was perfect to leave enough play for it to slide in and out easily. Alright guys, now what I want to do before I set this up is, there's not a ton of space under here, but there's enough so you can store a lot of your gear under here. The problem is getting to it. So what I want to do is make like a little drawer system for this design. And I'm going to be making that out of a really cheap sheet of OSB plywood, as well as the leftover 2x4s we got. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. And guys, I'm just using OSB here just because I had a sheet on hand. And it's pretty cheap. I think I got this sheet for like 14 bucks. But by all means, you can get like a nice sanded plywood for this as well. This is just the shelf for the drawer to store my gear, so I'm not too worried about it. This will work just fine. Alright guys, I just threw this together real quick. I just used the sides that I cut on the table saw, put them flush with the bottom. Same with that back piece, put it flush. Took a couple cut-off pieces of my 2x4s that I've been cutting and just screwed it to the sides and then up through the bottom through this to connect it. It's strong, it's perfect for what I need it for. I ripped a couple for the lengths. I just ripped them right in half because that's plenty to do that. And this will give me plenty of storage for underneath there. So let's see how it fits. Oh, and then I also just drilled holes and took some 1/2-inch rope just to make a nice oversized handle. Depending on how heavy it is, I can use both hands or just one, but nice and simple, easy. So that right there is probably the most efficient, cheapest way you can get this set up for sleeping in the back of your truck. That is well under $100 in lumber. Alright guys, that was my main goal with this build, is to not only do it cheap, but to put it in and out extremely easily and extremely quickly. So I've got a stopwatch here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. You should be able to. I'm going to start that, and I'm going to put everything in, and let's see how long it'll take. So basically all I do here is the main frame I slide in first, and the way I designed this is the feet, as you can see, sit inside the wheel wells, so it slides in really easily. And then the way the wheel wells are, that middle support that goes over the wheel wells is able to slide up onto it. And that is why I rounded the feet over too, so there's no sharp edges to catch on anything. And then I just throw the sleeping platform, which is the sheathing plywood, up on. Then I just slide the drawer in right underneath. Super easy, super quick. There's the sleeping platform and the drawer, and we are 1 minute 20 seconds in. So let's get everything else in here. And then as far as the other things I put in here, I mean, this isn't really part of the build, but I start off with just a futon mattress. This is the mattress we used for years in here, and it worked out extremely well. It made it a lot more comfortable than just, say, like just a sleeping bag. So if you're doing a lot of trips, it's really nice to have a futon mattress. If this one's still available, I'll link it below where we got it. But then just any basic blanket you got, any pillows, and then I like to put a sleeping bag up over the mattress as well. And then obviously the drawer, that's where you can store all your gear. You get the point. In under 5 minutes, is that lit up? No. So in about 5 minutes, I've got everything in there to go camping, basically. Super easy, super quick. Had to bring the OGs back from the original video. My old guy here, his days of jumping up there are done. Cleo probably still will, but she decides not to. But anyway, I probably won't do any camping videos on this channel, being that it's a woodworking video, but I do have a family channel. I'll link it down in the description if you're interested in any camping videos. Me and my son will probably do that, so follow along there, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, it should work for any truck bed, so. And it's a super cheap way to travel with how expensive everything's gotten lately. This is just awesome. Anyways, as always, I got another one queued up for you down here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.